Yo, 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 what's going on, everybody? It's your boy X the Creator coming back at you live with another movie Monday review madness. Let's get it. All right, so first of all, I hope you're having a wonderful day today. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. Hope you had a wonderful week last week. We're gonna go ahead and send out some good vibes for your week this week. So we're gonna go ahead and claim that y'all gonna have a great week this week. I'm gonna have a great week this week. We all gonna have a great week this week, okay? Let's claim that. Gotta manifest. Go ahead and put them positive vibes out in there, because you're gonna get it. All right. Now for this for the today's or this week's movie Monday review. Got two great ones for you, man. Got two great ones for you. Okay. Now, the first one is John Q. Right, came out in 2000. I had to write it down. 2002. It's a classic. It's old. It's crazy we call that a classic. It's early 2000s. I'm sure my old heads out there that might be watching this, they be like, "Ain't no classic. Seven is a classic for me." But yeah, John Q was the first one, and the second one is Carry On. Carry On is a Netflix movie. It came out in 24, I believe. Yeah, 2024. So last year. Um, Both of them are really good movies. Okay, both of them really good movies. Get this camera right real quick. Really good movies, and I'm gonna go over like a quick review with these. I'm not gonna try to touch on too much with these reviews for this week though. It's a lot of I can go deep with these because I can do some other videos with this. It's a lot of reformations that I can be able to add into. But as far as let's go ahead and tap into John Q. Right. So John Q, like I said, it came out in 2002, starring Denzel Washington. Right now, Denzel, he was playing a factory worker in his movie. His role was a blue collar man, hard working man, had a wife, had a kid, and making his way on up like it's like the Jeffersons moving on up. He's trying to make his way on up. In the very beginning, he is trying to get a promotion at the job, and go ahead cut to like the meat and potatoes of this movie is essentially Denzel or John Q. His son had got terminally ill. Long story short, he needed a heart transplant. Right, it was at a baseball game out in the early bits of the movie where his son had got a base hit. He's rounding first base, and he's about halfway to second base, and all of a sudden he grabs his chest and he couldn't breathe. You know what I mean? So his heart was apparently too large for his body. You know what I mean? So it wasn't pumping enough blood. I'm not sure what the scientific name for that is. I'm sure you doctors and nurses, y'all could be able to hit me out on that real quick. But his heart was not able to get enough blood in. It was not able to get enough blood in. So his body couldn't withstand it. So it was like almost like the Grinch story, where when his heart grew. You know what I mean? Yeah, they had to be able to start over. What's the word I'm looking for? Heart needed to go on overdrive, and it wasn't enough blood. It wasn't enough circulation. It was a lot of power for his little body. You know what I mean? Um, so with that being said, his son wouldn't had that, so he had to go to the doctor. Essentially, is like I said, it's terminal. And John Q, he is trying to find ways to gather money together. Like I say, he's a blue collar man and hard working man. You know what I mean? And he was not getting the enough hours, quote unquote, enough hours for like the insurance companies to be able to for them to be able to help him out to a certain extent. His job just got a cheaper insurance policy, right? Because the job was trying to obviously make more money. How can they be able to attain more money while keeping their insurance low for their workers? Which means cheaper insurance means you're not going to be insured for so only X amount of tiers. You X amount of things you can be able to get covered. You know what I mean? So that there's that. You know what I mean? And another one, um, it was showing a lot about like the just like the healthcare. I got a docket, by the way, guys. Like um, because I can be able to go on a tangent. I might talk on one subject, one topic, and next thing you know, I'm off to the races. You feel me? I'm off to the races. No Jesse Owens, okay. But yeah, no, it touched on like a very big topic with healthcare. You know what I mean? And he ended up having to, he didn't had well, he made a choice essentially. He made a choice: either my son dies, and he ended up doing whatever, anything any loving father would do. So he ended up holding the hospital hostage. The hostage said, I said the hostage. The hospital said they couldn't help him out. They had him for X amount of days, and they was gonna release him. You know what I mean? And they was gonna release a terminally ill kid until he got on this donor list. But since his insurance company couldn't be able to insure X amount of money up front, they, like I said, they was going to release him. You know what I mean? And with that being said, he couldn't find ways to get the money, and it ended up being like, are we looking at values, or are we looking at the value? If you know what I mean, like, are we looking at the values of human life within this story, or we're looking at the value of the dollar that can be able to save this human life? You know what I mean? Don't let that one go over your head. So he ended up holding this hospital hostage, and it was a lot of stuff that was going on amongst, like, within the hospital. You know what I mean? So he ended up kind of governing the hospital as if any law-abiding citizen would do. Obviously, the act he was doing was not law-abiding. First of all, what is that even a real law? You know what I mean? It's a man-made law. That's a whole other topic, though. So, long story short, a lot of attention was brought to him after these big issues of healthcare, insurance got brought up. You know what I mean? And we can touch on this for a little bit too. What's going on right now in America, right? And in reality, okay. So that's like the meat and potatoes of John Q. Must see. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It'll make you think. It's very thought provoking. It'll open your eyes up a little bit, maybe wiggle your tail a little bit, right? Now, as far as Carry On came out in 2024, last year. Okay. It's on Netflix if you ain't got it. John Q, by the way, I think it was like on Apple TV. Yeah, I watched it on YouTube, but you can watch it for free on YouTube. You can find one. Just keep scrolling, you'll find a good one, right? But I want people to know about that. I think it was Apple TV, Hulu, YouTube, and as far as Carry On, you can watch that on Netflix. If you ain't got it, look it up. Actually, it's right here. Let me see. You can watch it on. It's not popping up, so I ain't trying to search for it too much right now while we trying to get into this little combo. But you get the gist. You can look up yourself. You got two fingers. You got two hands, and your fingers right, phalanges. So Carry On. What it's about? It's about Ethan Kopech. This is the character's name. I don't know who the actor is who's playing Ethan Kopech or Kopech. Another man. He was a hardworking man. Essentially, you could kind of look at him as losing drive in life. Like, life beat him up. He had big goals and aspirations up until he got to TSA. He had a girlfriend that admired him, that was, pouring positivity and really essentially trying to help pick him up and trying to get him to push forward to do some greater things in life. Really just to get him to get back to dreaming again. You know what I mean? Chasing something. He wasn't really chasing it. He was almost like in a passive state. Kopech was. So he was working at TSA, and I think his girlfriend was working at the airport as well. I forgot what she did though, but so Kopech, he got influenced by his girlfriend, which is it was a very good influence, because she lit a fire up on him a little bit though, because they're about to have a baby. She's pregnant, and he needs more money to be able to have, just more income to be able to come in to provide for the family. And he goes into work that day asking for a raise. He walked in late out the gate. He walking in late. It's not really looking good for him when he walking in late asking for a raise. You know what I'm saying? It's not a good look for you. And boss man was like, nah, you walking in late, you asking me this, like the ball's on this guy. You feel me? Like, who is this dude? This man walking in late asking me for a raise, right? But thankfully, Kopech had a friend within TSA. He had got 2 promotions already, and he stuck his neck out for him in front of the boss and another guy, and he stuck his neck out for him, and essentially got a trial run, and that kind of lit up the fire. Got him a little giddy. Um, to be able to tell his girl, hey, listen, boss man gonna give me a trial run, so I might got something. I might got something. You feel me? So he didn't really have much because the plot it takes a twist for the turn quick. Let's say twist for the turn. They don't even sound right, but it's gonna sound good right here. So it takes a twist immediately out the gate. So he goes to his station. TSA, they open the gates. People pouring through, and he gets met with a woman that's going through TSA. He's essentially what he does. He scans like the luggage, your luggage, to see, make sure there's nothing inside of it, make sure there's nothing dangerous or detrimental inside his luggage, your carry-ons, right? Hence the name, carry on. And this woman goes through, and she has this little, like when you put your phones, your items in that bucket. She hands it back to him after she goes through. She's like, hey, this is mine. And it's like a little piece, like a little earpiece. He looks at it. He gets ready to like put it up or something like that. Then he gets a text saying, put it in. And then he looks around. Then it was another message he got. It's like, right now, whatever. So he puts it in. Long story short, it's some terrorists, right? And they're professionals. They're Russians, and they're trying to. I think it had something to do with. I'm not sure if it was healthcare. I forget. No, I think it had something to do with health. I'm not really sure. It was a big point. There was some woman that was a politician essentially. That was trying to make a point that was going to be flying on a plane, and that was essentially going to gas the plane that had some high tech gas bomb within the luggage that was trying to get Kopech to just not flag. You know what I mean? And it ended up getting even more interesting because the guy that was going through the gates, he was being manipulated too by these people, and they had his husband hostage, making him carry the gas bomb through the gates. And they had Kopech, by the nards, well, y'all nads too. I'm trying to not say balls, but same thing. It don't matter. You get it. Um, they had him in a chokehold too, and they was threatening to kill his woman out the gate. They didn't have too much information on him because remember when I said earlier the guy that stuck his neck out for Kopech to get the job, he was the one that was originally supposed to be at the gate. So that wasn't even Kopech's. That wasn't his day. That was just a bad day. That was just a unfortunate series of events that happened, and because like the professional terrorists, these people, they didn't expect it, but they had to, this was a day for them to do this, so they had to, you know, be innovative and switch up certain things so we can get information because they was about to kidnap the guy that stuck his neck out for Kopech, kidnap his family, his wife, and his thing that 3 kids. And that was wild. Like, I mean, out the gate, because the whole scene is in the airport. Like I said, y'all gotta watch it. It's a good movie, right? And long story short, Kopech, he kind of gave up on his dreams of becoming a police officer. He has very good instincts. You can see in the movie. He is very very intelligent person, man, and like I say, when he didn't make it the first time into the police academy, kind of just gave up. You know what I mean? Because he had his dreams, his hopes up. It was, even his girl said it. He was giddy, and then after that, he kind of like went on like in the back burner, right? But these professional terrorists, they didn't know what they was getting themselves into. You know what I mean? And there was a lot of manipulation within this movie, and it shows you about the choices that, like, as as like everyday people, like, I mean, this is just swarms of people. It shows you about like what goes on in the real world and also what goes on outside of the world that we were taught, that we were brought into, right? Because there's a lot of stuff that's going on outside of the things that we see, right? Folks are going, got families. They going. It's Christmas Eve, by the way. So it's Christmas Eve. Folks going to celebrate, go with be near family and stuff like that. And the whole time he over checking bags, and he got dude in his ear. He trying to let people know, but they threatening to kill his girl, murder his love, and he going through all this, and nobody knows. Nobody knows. You know what I mean? Folks are just living their everyday life, and whole terrorist about to take out this one plane with a bomb with this political leader that's supposed to be on it, so they can be able to reform some things and get some money off of it, right? And long story short, you know what I mean? He caught the eyes of some detectives, and the detectives was very impressed at the end of the movie about what he did, because he ended up saving the day, because it's a movie, right? Not every movie has a good ending, but you can always expect it to have a good ending. So like you should watch this movie, right? Really good movie. Carry On, both of them at that, right? So I want to go back into John Q, right? So let's touch on like the healthcare, right? So we already know about the stuff going on in America right now. That like the CEO of like the healthcare thing, whatever. He was assassinated, right? And within the movie of John Q, there was a lot of, like, at the end of the movie, it was talk shows. The people was rising up, that was standing up, because like they saw this man, he was doing what he uh, what he knew was right, because they turned him down. They turned him and his family down because they didn't have the money, and there was like, you know what, you ain't got the money value, so we're not gonna save your son's life values, right? And as far as, let's tie this into Carry On as well. So like I say, it's choice. That was a choice. We always got all types of choices we can make, and especially when the stakes are even higher, right? And so a lot of folks don't know what he's going through, just because he is, like I say, he is trying to save his little kid's life, right? Son dying. I think he's like 5 or 6 years old, right? Now with Carry On, Ethan Kopech, he is trying to save his girlfriend's life. Like they tell him, like, we're gonna kill him, we're gonna shoot her, and then like he's getting ready to try to like tell her something, and boom, a red dot sight is on her head. She don't even know. She's trying to figure out why he not talking and certain things, and he just looking at, and the guy was like, "Don't say another word. If you say another word, we off and right there." You know what I mean? What would y'all do in that situation, first of all? You know what I mean? So in the very beginning, like, when would you put, like, if somebody texts you and start threatening you from the phone, saying all this, what would y'all do? Would y'all throw, like, would you take the earbud out? Or would you sound the alarm out the gate? Because he didn't sound the alarm, because he Ethan Kopech, he showed us how selflessness he was, because he saved the guy who stuck his neck out for him to get him that trial run, by kind of, people would say, backstabbing. If you watch the movie, you should see it so you can see the point of what I'm talking about, because he didn't want him to be in that situation, because he didn't want his family to get kidnapped. He understood that that day was not supposed to be his day to be right there at that gate, because they already did the research on the other guy, not Kopech. Right? So what would you do in that situation? You know your friends, your you right there, you TSA, you know what I mean? Somebody in your ear, they telling you boom boom boom. What would you do? Like, would you take that? Would you take all of the responsibilities of that, or would you just let your friend go by the wayside? You know what I mean? What would you do? Tough question. Nobody would really knows what we would do until you're in that situation. But like, I do that. I do. But nobody really knows. You really wouldn't know. You feel me? But he shows us how selflessness he is by that decision. by him backing up and not even trying to tell his woman. Like he was willing to save his woman's life, and because he really didn't know, because like it was going to be 260 people on the plane that was going to potentially be getting murdered, right? 260 people or one life, the love of your life, 260 randoms. What would you choose in that situation? Would you choose your love, or would you say these randoms? Because keep in mind, the stakes always gets higher. So if you do sound the alarm, that gas bomb might go off in the airport. So then now the whole airport at risk. Now it might be 10,000. We go from 1 to 260 to 10,000. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of options in here. So both of these two characters, John Q and Ethan Kopech, had to make some selflessness decisions in order to save their loved ones, attempting to save their loved ones, right? Both of them are heroes. Both of them. Both of them saved the day. But it took them the thought, the act of thinking about others instead of themselves, right? Because when you think about yourself, you know, you can do pretty well. You can go far, you know what I mean? You can go far, but you can go further when you start putting others together, you know what I mean? Right? Together you can go far. You can. Right? And then back to John Q, when they were inside, when because he had hostages too when he took over the hospital. Like he talking to the doctor, he was trying to make a point, you know what I mean, about the doctor, and the doctor's like, there's nothing I can do. I mean, really, you could do something. He put the numbers together about, because the operation for his son to get a new heart transplant was $250,000, and he had to pay 30% upfront cash because they had to treat it as a cash thing out the gate, because they assumed that his insurance was not going to work. You know, first of all, that assumption was wild. Makes you wonder if they knew something was going to happen. Not, you know, was it kind of connected? You know what I mean? But that's another topic. He had to pay 30% cash before they could even like try to operate on him, and let alone to get a donor that matched. And I think this 30% was like 30,000 or something like that, right? He ended up raising like 16K at the end of it, you know. But the doctor, like the reason why he did the whole thing, because the doctor said, "It's all I can do. Can't do anything else," you know. And before he even got to that conversation, it's like, I can't do anything else. He over there laughing, kikiing with some people, you know, and just, you know, everything is all cool, you know. And you know, so he took him hostage. And like, think about the healthcare system, you know what I mean? Like you have to have insurance within this business, because it's a business, right? You think about it, because they saying, I can't help you because you don't have the money. And I understand that. I get the point where you're like, well, some people might be like, well, ain't nothing free. We get it though. We get it. But at what point do I neglect the fact that this human being needs help right now? At what point do I go out of my way and not think about the dollar sign and try to help this human being out right now? What point, America? What point, world, humanity? What point do we do that? At what point? You know, so there was a big lesson to be learned within this movie, like John Q specifically, with healthcare and also insurance. We can talk about insurance over there and on the West Coast, right? We can talk about insurance on the West Coast, how them fires are going on right now, right now, and some of these insurance companies was denying people from you know, helping them out. They done took their money. They've been paying months and months and months and years and years and years and decades potentially without even thinking about calling them. But now when they need them, the insurance company like, yeah, sorry, buddy, we can't help you. We don't want to. Matter of fact, not even the can't, because let's not even use the word can't, because can't is an excuse. Let's be honest with ourselves. You don't want to change the word can't to I don't want to. You got the truth then. So you don't want to help out. You could, but you just got done taking all these people out. So you want to help out when you know you're gonna get paid. You want to help out when you're gonna get that check. But when they need it, but when they want it, when they gotta have it, you ain't got them. Come on now. Come on, America. Come on, world. Come on, humanity. Let's think about this. Are we thinking about it? Or we gonna still be like, well, ain't nothing free in the world. But okay, I understand. I understand. Right? I get it. I get it. We live on a free planet. This planet should be free, right? This earth. Most High bless us with this earth. We do have to pay for it. It's crazy, right? Don't you think that's kind of a little odd? We could just be living amongst each other and helping another out. We could be bartering or trading. You know what I mean? Like how we used to do back in the day. But then, somehow we got greed involved here, right? I gotta get mine before they get theirs. Where did all these ideologies come from? Huh? Where did this come from? I'm talking to you. You right there. I'm talking to you. Where did this come from? Ask yourself that. Where did it come from? Think a little deep. Don't sink on that though, but think a little deep, right? So a lot of stuff was going on with this, man. And one of the things I wrote down this one, I wanted to write down this one because the negotiator, he made a remark about the woman that was in charge of the hospital when he got to the hospital in the movie John Q. He was talking about what's going on. Who's the woman in charge here? Where's she at? And the woman, she was on vacation. She was gone. She took off. Actually, she went on vacation. I'm sorry. She took off. You know what I mean? And she's chilling. And he made a remark. He was like, what did he say? He said, the woman in charge is off, and says, he was like, people get the negotiator of like the police department negotiates like hostage situations. They negotiate, essentially just put people at ease if you didn't know what that was. But the negotiator was like, so the woman in charge, she's taking off on Saturdays. Don't people get sick on Saturdays? Or just it was like a small joke within the show. You know what I mean? And another one that that got me was the woman that was in charge. Once she finally got to the hospital during this situation, she said that she's like, hey, people get sick, they die. That's the way it goes. People get sick, they die. That's the way it goes. People get sick, they die. That's the way it goes. Okay. People do get sick. We have the ability to heal ourselves, though. Look at have herbal and natural remedies, right? But if we do that, though, that puts the healthcare out of a job, right? If we think about it like that, the body heals itself. Let's not talk about that. The body can heal itself. If you just look for it, and you look for information, the body can heal itself. We don't need all these pills, these drugs. They telling us in plain sight. Drugs. Once you take something from its original state, it's now considered a drug. When we initially had the plant medicine. Ain't that wild, huh? Ain't that wild? So once we can use these herbal remedies to be able to heal ourselves, right? She said the people get sick, they die. That's the way it goes. You see how so uninterested in human life she is? This is the woman that was in charge of the hospital. People get sick, they die. That's the way it goes, right? So you don't care. You're not trying to help. You're not going that second mile to attempt to help. I understand you didn't get paid, but like all this money that y'all raking in, you can't help somebody out financially. I'm pretty sure a lot of countries have free healthcare if one cannot pay for it or afford it. Because the way this system is set up, the people that's, at the bottom, they sick, they screwed, essentially. They die. That's the way it goes. That's what the woman just said. What's the irony in that, bringing that into reality, right? Let's bring this art to life right here. This art coming to life right now, actually. Let's think about this, right? Let's think about that, right? So, I mean, a lot was going on in this movie, man. Like I say, John Q must watch. Carry On, must watch. And I want to make another point. I just want to emphasize this point. In a life-threatening situation, you have the choice to either go left or right. Left being for yourself, to help yourself out. Right being to help others out. Which road would you go? Help others being humanity. Which road would you go down? Would you just choose yourself, or would you choose humanity? You know. So these two characters in these movies, they're the epitome of selflessness, right? They're showing others how to lead with love, right? Regardless of all of the indoctrinate, like all the things, the societal stigmas and all the stuff that we were taught to do, right? We learn these things. Doesn't mean it's right. Doesn't mean it's right. We're taught to obey. I'm sure y'all seen that. Read a book back in middle school. Big Brother's always watching. What movie is that? Or what book was that? Forgot what that was. But Big Brother's always watching, right? Obey. You know, all these things that we have to do what it says right here on paper. You can't think outside the box. You can't think for yourself. You have to obey this when obeying is not right in most cases, in a lot of cases, not all cases, right? But in these cases, I have to obey what it says right here. I can't go outside of my norm to help others out. Why? Think about this, people. Come on now. Think about this now. But that's all I got right now for this movie Monday Madness review. That's what we're gonna do. Movie Monday Madness review. Okay. Yeah, Carry On came out in 2024 last year, and John Q 2002. Both of them are wonderful, good. Y'all should go watch those movies when you make some time for it. I know you can watch it. I love watching these movies right here and being able to bring this art to life, and just showing how a lot of these movies resemble and can be able to teach us some very, very key values and morals, right? To be able to proceed and know how to act in certain situations. Obviously, not every situation is extreme as some of these, though, but we can learn a lot from these, though. But until then, it's your boy X the Creator. I hope y'all take care and have a great rest of your week. But have a great rest of y'all's week, man. Y'all take care. Peace.